What's going on, everybody? This is my relationship series that I'm starting. Um, these are some of men's deepest and darkest secrets. Some of the things that I will be covering is my theories on why men cheat. A night watch for your home. Why a day watch too. Engineered with a single focus. We'll just take it on the fly or whatnot. Some questions I've been talking about over the last couple of days or whatnot. Just some conversations I've been having on Facebook or whatnot. I'm gonna start off with why I will give y'all my theory on men that cheat. It's types of guys. Well, there's three types of guys. One is the guy who doesn't want to be in a relationship, period. He's not ready to be in a relationship at that present time. I don't have very much to say about that. That's kind of cut and dry. He may tell you, things that you want to hear, or at least close enough to what you want to hear in order for him to get what he wants. You got to be careful with those guys. There's a lot of those guys out here. You can judge a guy, and I hate to say this, but you can, with the way sex is perceived, or the way sex is now, you get the real, you meet a person's representative when you first meet them. You know what I'm saying? That representative may be telling you things that you like to hear, and that representative may just be honest, or that representative may just not know what to say and say all kinds of reckless shit. So, after, it's sad, but you don't know the real man until pretty much that week after the first time you have sex. That's when you get to weed out what type of person you're dealing with, as far as what he told you, and then you get to compare those things. The other two types of guys that I'm going to talk about is, the other two type of guys I'm going to talk about is the guy who, after that first time y'all have sex, he's not around as much over that next week, or he doesn't try to smash again within 7 days or whatnot. That guy already had things going on other than you, and you were just somebody he wanted to smash, even though he probably didn't tell you that. That's where he was leaning towards, that he just wanted to smash you, and he had other things going on. Therefore, when he it's not even about the box. You know what I'm saying? It's not even about if the sex was good, because there are extenuating circumstances as a juggling act. So, he might have been beforehand, he might have been calling you, 5 times a week or 5 days a week, and actually sitting on the phone and talking to you and checking in the other 2 days, and then that week after, it becomes kind of the opposite. He's checking in 5 days, and then 2 days he may sit and have a conversation with you, and it just gets worse from there. And he never had true intentions on being with you. It was up in the air to a certain extent, but he was always leaning towards not being with you. It's just one of those things, like, these are the new rules. These are the new rules, like how open people are with sex and sexual acts and things like that. And we have the way we even look at relationships is different now. So these are the rules according to how people look at relationships now, and this is how I see it to be. Just from, you know what I'm saying, like, there's so many different avenues to meet new people now that it's hard to focus on what you have in front of you. It's harder to focus on what you have in front of you. Sadly, that requires more effort on both parts, you know what I'm saying? But we don't tend to work hard for relationships now because we think of them temporarily. Like, we think of them in temporary senses rather than thinking in the terms of forever. With the addition of different social medias and all of that stuff, it makes it hard. So that's the second type of guy, you know what I'm saying? The the third type of guy is the guy who doesn't change afterwards. And I'll tie this all into cheating a little bit later. But the guy who doesn't change immediately after and is still there for you and makes you feel comfortable being with him, and he's still, you know, into you and still trying to share things with you, moments and sex and stuff like that. That's the third type of guy. In that case, you probably got a good guy. That guy is also capable of cheating, however. So those are the three scenarios, the three main scenarios I put out there. Now, first scenario I put out there is the guy who never had any intentions on being with you. He just wanted to smash. For some reason, you end up in a relationship with him. It's only that's where his mind is when you end up in a relationship with him, or prior to that. And maybe one night y'all have a good conversation and he's just like, okay, he's telling you what you want to hear. And y'all end up in a relationship. He's probably about 95%. It's probably about 95% chance of that he's going to cheat. Probably a little more than that. Probably about 97%. Because he didn't come into it the right way. The second guy, the guy who kind of gets missing or whatnot, you have to be really careful with this guy, because that guy can actually, I would say it's about a 25% chance that he's going to be faithful to you. 75% chance, 75 to 80% chance that he's going to cheat. And it's just because, again, his mindset is not right as far as going into the relationship. He was iffy going into the relationship. Y'all get into a relationship, it's going to be a thing where, you know what I'm saying, like, he's going to, it'll be hard for him to bypass those feelings that he had, because you were there when he was in, you know, you were the person that was there when he was having these feelings that he wanted to play the field and do whatever and see whoever and talk to whoever and not be honest. So it's one of those things that it's very rare to see that person change their personality and change the things that they want and change their actions. Very rare. Now, the third guy, and this is the one I want to talk about. Third guy that I explained was the guy who made you feel comfortable, made you feel like he wanted to be in a relationship, and this, that, and the third. This is where it gets tricky, ladies. When you got that type of guy in your life, and he gets to that point where he feels like he wants to do something else and with other people, there's something coming up short in your relationship. And a lot of times I find that through my experiences and friends of mine experiences and just things that I see in the world, excuse me, a lot of times I find that that guy usually started off talking about what was going on in the relationship, and either A lot of times women get content, and we only speaking about dudes. So I don't want anybody commenting and telling me, well, ladies feel the same and all of this stuff. But I'm only speaking on dudes because I am a guy. So this is my perspective from the male point of view. You got that good guy that makes you feel, and a lot of times early in the relationship, or not early in the relationship, but once the relationship starts 2 to 3, maybe 4 months after the honeymoon period is over, in the beginning you were having sex like jackrabbits, and towards, later on, it starts to decline, and I think that type of man, y'all might not think so, but men cheating is as emotional as it is for a woman to cheat. The question that's never asked when women want to have this conversation or whatnot is, well, where was I when he was doing all of this stuff? And how did he get away with it? Well, maybe you wasn't putting enough attention on him. Maybe you wanted to hang out with your friends a little bit too much. You weren't giving him enough attention, or whatnot. A lot of times we fail to self-examine. We fail to examine ourselves when we talk about what goes on, what goes wrong in the relationship. And because he pushes you. So, generally, early in the relationships, and especially nowadays, you know what I'm saying, when a man tells you that there's something wrong in the relationship or whatnot, women don't want to hear it. Either you ignore him, or you make statements like, you're too sensitive, or you're emotional, or you're, my favorite, you act like a bitch. Which makes a person not want to talk to you. And I tell my female friends and people on Facebook all the time, the shit that you don't want to hear is more of a blessing than it is a hindrance. And if you care about a man, you shouldn't worry about when he's talking to you. Because as long as he's talking, he cares. He still cares where the relationship is going. Once he stops talking, he don't give a fuck. And that's where he goes into that mindset of, there are things and attentions that I want at home and I'm not getting it, so I still want to be with this person. Maybe they will change, but for now, I'm going to go out and do some things on my own. So, I break it down like that, and of course you got a fourth type of guy who won't do anything no matter what, but you know what I'm saying, like, those are very rare, you know what I'm saying? That's like having someone that loves you unconditionally. And when I say that's very rare, it's very, very rare. I actually don't think that unconditional love actually exists in relationships. I think somebody can do something to you no matter what that'll make you leave, and that will make you change the love that you have for them. So, to recap, I gave you 3 different types of situations, really, that you can actually gauge what type of man you're dealing with within a week after the first time you have sex. I do have some other tips for before that, but we'll save that for another video. I hope y'all enjoyed the video. Maybe next time you get into a relationship, you'll start to notice and recognize some of these things. Hope I was able to help you in some kind of way. That's all I got. Till next time, show off. To be honest, I may shoot another video as soon as I'm finished with this. But y'all have a good night. I'll holler at y'all. Peace.